This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you, exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful, tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud, shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful, tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud, shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
back in. Ah.
Okay. So now we have audio.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. So I'm going to back up a little bit, but I'm going to speed it up.
So you talked to your uncle.
Right. Okay, give me the recap, Vincent.
All right. For those who missed because of the technical difficulties we suffered earlier, Eric had this conversation with his uncle, in which my intention was to find out the jewels that his uncle dropped on him. His uncle asked him the question of, how can we change? Eric surmised it and said that the basis of it, or the basis of his thesis right now, is education, because Black America has been miseducated. On this show, we talked about the miseducation of Black America, because the majority of the textbooks right now were written by and edited by daughters of the Confederates.
Well, but let us go further, Vincent. Let us say not just the miseducation of Black people, but miseducation of everybody.
Of America.
Now, and beyond. See, because when we have the conversation, or when I have the conversation in these ADOS rooms with these folks who want to talk about the broader diaspora, right? It's because of their miseducation. When I want to have a conversation with them about immigrants coming over through legislation that is intended to marginalize foundational Black Americans, and then they don't understand that, and they think that I'm attacking them, is because of their miseducation, right? And what their view is of Black Americans, one, and their understanding of the relationship between the corporation white supremacy here in America and Black Americans here in America. So,
well, I checked on the actual requirements of immigration, and that part of learning history, and looking at the text in which they're learning American history, it has nothing to do with Black Americans, their contributions and development and building of America.
That's right. That's right. Nor does it talk about chattel slavery. Nor does it talk. It doesn't talk about any of those things. Which is why a lot of immigrants come here and they say, "We can do it. Why can't they?" Because they don't have a full understanding of the structural intent to subjugate Black Americans. They don't have a clue.
So they don't know the blueprint of the corporation of white supremacy.
No.
Especially those immigrants that are coming in from the European area.
Well, but what they do know is that they don't want to be identified as Black Americans. They know that. Don't they, Vincent? They know that. Man. They'll tell you real quick. They'll tell you real. They'll tell you that.
Dominican. Don't call me Black.
That's right.
I'm Jamaican.
That's right. So they know enough to want to separate from us, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't have enough information to understand the fight that we have. So it all boils down to education. I even say that what occurred at the Capitol, some of that could have been thwarted if it were for education, right? So folks who are weak-minded are easily hurted. So if we want to deal with this, we talk about national security issues or homeland security issues. Well, a lack of education has to be considered a national security issue. Has to be. It leaves us vulnerable to this kind of low-level propaganda. So I said to my uncle, I said, just like they stormed the Capitol believing that to save their union, they needed to go to the source of power where policies are shaped. We have to go to the source as well. And it is these failing educational institutions. So instead of going to Mitch McConnell's house and standing in front of his house and protesting, or lending yourself to what's going on with Ayanna Presley or Ilhan in Minnesota, or, anywhere else in the country for that matter, Georgia, worry about what's in your own backyard. These failed elected officials who are continuing to ram down the throats of our children this dangerous miseducation. Let's attack that. And that's what I said to him. I said, it's got to start there. But watch what happens. We're so ill prepared, Vincent, that right after this assault on Black Americans, right? Because we could say it was assault on the Capitol, assault on whatever. It was really a message, like Jody says, a message that says, we don't want to validate the voice of Black Americans.
Nor do we want to give them opportunities and privileges.
That's right.
That we have been receiving for hundreds of years.
Right. So let's see. Because next month is Black History Month. Let's see what we do as Black Americans. Let's see what level of organization exists within the Black caucus or Black electeds all across this country when it comes to riding the momentum of what we call woke Blackness in 2021. Nothing's going to change. Watch. So here are the indicators that I always look at. There will be no difference. Where we should be able to finally say on the heels of this, 1 month isn't enough. We don't want Black History Month. Until you're willing to realize, America, that America doesn't need White History Month. Right? Because the very DNA of the education is around white history. So why do we need Black History Month? The fact that we need it is the problem. And the way that you do away with needing Black History Month is infusing Black history throughout the fabric of education in this country. Then you don't need Black History Month. Just history. But let's see what they do in February. Watch how watered down it is. Watch how watered down the Martin Luther King Day is gonna be. Right? We're gonna replay the "I Have a Dream" speech out of context again.
We're gonna sing "Lift Every Voice."
We're gonna sing "Lift Every Voice" and sing. And we're gonna try to raise our voices over the cries of the next beaten Black man or woman. Next murdered child.
Part of Black Lives Matter Boulevard and sing that soon-to-be Negro spiritual. Lift every voice and sing.
Free at last. Free at last.
They've been lying to us because we're not free at last. The only freedom the American United States America has wrote Black America a check with insufficient funds. That was Martin Luther King's speech.
So, let's watch and see what happens. But education. We should all be asking or demanding, starting with our Black elected officials, right? Those who are mayors, those who are councilmen and women, those who are board members in our community. We should be demanding right now, right, that we overtake the Board of Education, not violently, but that we overtake it, that we hold sit-ins, that we protest and say, no more. No more will I allow my children or my neighbor's children to be miseducated. And so then my uncle asked me, he said, well, but they don't know better, Eric. I said, but some people in our community do. And those who do have to stand up for those who don't. Those who know better.
Those who don't, you're standing up for them. You're standing up for those who do, who stand up for those who don't, get persecuted.
Well, they do. Well, they do.
Get upset and get terrorized, and they get systematic lynching of anybody who wants to make a difference. Yet those who don't see these people fighting for their cause. Oh yeah, they see them fighting for their cause, yet they will do nothing to assist in their liberation. And after you get marginalized and scandalized and stereotyped and then lynched to nearly nothing, a shell of the person that you once were.
Yeah.
Those who don't know better look at you as the example of why they don't do anything.
Right. But having said all of that, getting to what we have to do. That's what we have to do. We have, those who know better have laid down our weapons and allowed the ignorant class to run amok in our community. That's what we've done. That's what we've done. You know, now we can argue whether we should fight or not, but if we don't fight for them, irrespective of whether they want to fight for themselves, because they are the anvil. They are the anvils tied around our ankles, holding us back.
Well, we just realized that we have huge issues in fighting for ourselves. That it takes motivation and movement of mass proportion to get us to stand up, to get the numbers in to make a difference. Yet the white man has no problem in organizing a coup because he's fighting for himself. When are we going to realize that the failures of our history, we continue to repeat them because we take no action?
But you know it's interesting. I even saw, though, the level of confusion within our community. Well, not confusion. The level of deception in our community is deep. Because I even see now folks who mean harm to black folks who mean harm to black folks who are in the usury business of other black folks. I see them posting like, you know, we need to wake up, we need to do this, we need to fight back, and I'm showing tremendous restraint by not going into their threads and just blowing them up and just saying, wait a minute, what the hell? Your entire life has been built around using black people in the political system. Your whole life. So there's this like lack of credibility that exists amongst those people, right? So there's definitely a war, Vincent. But we talk about on this show, we can't even get to fighting the known enemy because we're preoccupied with ferreting out the unknown enemy in our own midst. Like they have successfully put that barrier there. So as I'm literally trying to get to the enemy, right? Trying to get to the one we all know. But the challenge is that, you know, we've got to go through the muck and mire in our own communities of, you know, battling with our own brothers and sisters. Or, they're not really our brothers and sisters, but those who we perceive to be. And then we find out they're not. Right? So that's what I told him that we need to do. And with that, he hung the phone up.
Well, I had a long conversation with Rabbi Fish yesterday after after we recorded the show.
Mm-hmm.
Should be airing in a couple of days from editing. However, Rabbi Fish had a earworm on something we said yesterday about cutting the snake off at the head. And the fact that, is a lot of what we find out is that there is a lot. He says, until we get to the true power, then we consistently play whack-a-mole. This evil comes up and we hit that. This dictator comes up and we hit that. This one and that one. And he says, well, Vincent, who is the true corporation of white supremacy? I said, who is the true source of evil? Who is the true source of oppression? Who is the true source of miseducation and manipulation of people to do evil deeds? And he's a rabbi. His wife's a rabbi. His son will be ordained as a rabbi. Yet it stumped him to figure out who was the true source. And I said, in the Torah, he's called Satan. In the Quran, he's called the Whisperer. In the Bible, they call him Satan, the enemy. In fact, people in the Bible, as they become more learned and we deal with more pastors who have doctorate degrees and who have studied theology, they now say the enemy as in terms of the original text or translation of the original text. But the biggest part of the enemy and the evil that we deal with is both parts. There is the evil within us, within our communities, that keeps us from moving forward. There is the evil within the other communities that see us making a marginal progression and exhort all of their energy to stopping that. And we let them. We continue to chase our tails until we get frustrated and we do nothing. And then evil wins. And I think that's one of the things that I love. And I want to thank Donald Trump for it. Because the coronavirus has ripped off the veil of a lot of evil in which we had deemed now as a norm. It has ripped off a lot of the injustices that we have suffered as a people. It has awakened a group of people who said that ain't right, and we need to change it. If it was not for that, would we have flipped Georgia?
Right. So, Mark asked a question in here. He says, do you think that access to education can prevent people from not trusting government to the point where they are susceptible to being indoctrinated? I think that, okay. So, go ahead.
Let me explain why I said no. I interviewed with my nephew. He's a rapper. A lot of his stuff is on Sirius XM and Spotify, and he's an engineer and producer. Yet he has access to education as all do. I mean, he's all over the web and gaining information and movement. Yet that education that he's gaining, a lot of it is misinformation. They believe that Facebook does, as he calls them, psych outs, or psychological fakes, using algorithms. They believe that Bill...
So I want you to get to the answer to this question. So what? Why don't you believe that?
Well, because even though people have access to it, it takes a great deal of wisdom to compress, digest, and assimilate that in which they are reading or learning.
Right. So the question is not if they have access to miseducation, if they have access to education.
Correct.
Right. So
but see, and that's the whole thing. What looks better to them?
Right, but no. So what I'm saying is this: from the inception, we have to fight for proper education. Look, it's the same way. Education are like nutrients to the body, right? You feed your kid junk food, they're not going to be healthy. They're not going to be able to withstand diseases. They're not going to be. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So the same thing here. If we allow junk food to be fed into our children's minds, how do they battle these diseases? So we have to look at it. The other thing I said to my uncle, I said, look, if you take an oak tree that is 25 years old and you never grounded that oak tree when you planted it, right? So you plant it, and we've all seen this. They plant a tree, and then they take bungee cords, right? And they affix the bungee cords to the tree in 4 different areas, right? 3 to 4 different areas in order to sturdy the tree as it begins to root itself so that the tree grows straight. If you don't do that and the tree grows crooked, and then you go to this 30-year-old tree that is on an angle and has grown for 30 years crooked, it's hard, if not impossible, to right that tree. You have to rip that tree from the ground for fear that that tree may fall on somebody's house or fall on somebody's car and kill them, right? That tree has become a danger in the community. We've allowed these people to root and to grow crooked, and they are now dangers in our community. And we spend resources trying to right these trees that I think we should just cut down. Then what we should do is take our energy and we should plant firmly straight oak trees. And then we should hedge them with these bungee cords, which is the community, to ensure that they grow straight and tall and strong. Right? That's where we should be. But right now, I'm telling you, the sense of urgency doesn't exist in our community to understand that. That shows me that they understand this. Right now, these very trees are growing, right? They're growing sideways. And they're going to be the next 30-year-old oak trees that are a danger to our community because we did not take the time or care enough to hedge them in and to make sure that they grow straight.
There is a proverb in the Bible in which Jesus talks about the good farmer who planted a beautiful crop, and he looked at it, he supervised it well, but yet when he slept, someone came in his good crop and planted weeds. As the harvest came about, he saw his beautiful crop now entangled, mixed in with the weeds. And his workers said, should we tear it all down and start again? He said no, because of the simple fact that if this man has that level of evil to sow weeds into his crop the first time, what will prevent him from doing it again? Yet he said no. What we will do is we will let it grow. And at the harvest, we will cut it and we will now start to separate the truth from the false. We have had so much weeds indoctrinated into our education that it leaves a lot of people a level of confusion. And what we have to do is separate the true crop, the nourishment that we need, from the weeds, which will poison us.
Yeah, I look, Snoop Dogg, who had named himself Snoop Lion when he was on the quest to put out reggae music. I don't know if you remember that, right?
I remember that.
There was a song that he had, and the lyrics I thought were profound, right? He said, smoke the weed every day. Smoke the seed, no way. See, now, you could say he was talking about smoking marijuana.
No, he wasn't.
But I'm saying he was talking about in the community. These
Right.
people who are weeds, who are choking the seeds.
You pull it up and you burn it.
You burn them.
That's right.
Smoke the weed every day. smoke the seed. No way. So the seed has to be given the room to grow. We have to be the plow in the field that plows the way, that allows these seeds to flourish. Whitney Houston said, I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty that exists inside. Give them a sense of pride. We're not doing any of that.
I think, well, I kind of like George Benson, the author or the actual writer of it, and I like his version a little better. You know, I believe the children of the future. Teach them all the little way. Give them a chance to make it easier. Let their laughter remind us how it used to be. And we have gotten so old and so choked by the weeds that we have forgotten the joy of life. One of the biggest joys of life we get is nourishing, repairing, and raising our children. So we're raising our children. We're not raising our children or even paying a lot of attention to who is teaching our children and what they are learning. But we're losing that.
We just put them out there, man. We just put them out there. We don't. There's no home training. There's no nothing. Look, listen. I'll tell you this. I see people posting pictures of their dogs that they train enough not to allow the shit in the house. Meanwhile, your kids are shitting all over the neighborhood.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Tell that. I love it when you tell the truth and shame the devil. Go on, bro.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Vincent? Their children are shitting all over the just leaving shit all over the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll take time to train a dog.
When my daughter was talking about boyfriends, I explained to her, I said, you know what? When a man gets a car, a piece of crap of a car, you know, it got rust on the floorboard. He can put his feet down and touch the road. I mean, it's got, you know, a half a tire. He got a donut on it. But if you touch it, he'll be like, yo, get your hands off my car.
Yes.
He will go and get the tags. When a man finds a dog, a mutt, he will take it and get it shots. He will take it and wash it. He will train it and teach it. But yet when these guys find a woman, how worse they treat them than they treat these other worthless objects. And I said, you don't want a man that will treat his objects that are no worth to treat you less than he treats them.
So look, you know, we got Black History Month coming up.
Yeah, we do.
We got Black History Month coming up. This, to me, is the moment, right? So we're coming off of Kwanzaa, right? So I want you to understand these things. And this is why, you know, people say Eric is cynical. I don't think I'm cynical. I think that I'm realistic. So we're coming off of Kwanzaa. Then we're coming off of this insurrection, right? And like Jody said, Black people should look at that and say they wanted to invalidate everything Black people did.
That's right.
Right? So, okay. So, and here's the question. I want to know who's having that conversation in the Black community. What Black elected officials are having that conversation? What Black clergy are having that conversation? Right?
Who?
Shh, Vincent, I hear crickets. Right? Who's having that conversation?
Okay, I will say this. My pastor is borderline Black nationalist. And he does preach a lot of the history of the the people of color, what they've been through, and gives them forewarning of what's going on in politics today. That is great and it's wonderful, but that's in a small area in the community, and it needs to be broadened.
Well, but you know what? And I'll say this, even about the individual pastors, they got their own problems, right? They can't get out of the way of their egos and their will and their desire for their fiefdoms. So there's no cooperation.
Oh, not to mention piety or church polity.
You know, so we got all these issues. We got to call. Call, go.
Good morning, Eric.
What's going on, Jody Pittman?
Good morning, Jody. Jody, I don't get a good morning. I'm Jody. I'm feeling like a redheaded stepchild. I don't get a good morning. I'm sorry, Vincent.
Jody's got her sights set on me right now. That's why.
Let me just tell you a couple things, right? I used to, when I was called in, you turn off your Facebook on your phone, and, but I can't see you. But I appreciate seeing you now. So I put you on my big screen at work, and then I call in because I like your facial expression. When you're angry, when you're thinking, you're good face to face. Okay, so sometimes I can't. I have this amazing vibe thing going. Because very often, especially in the social media realm, you'll go on and see something stupid, some fake political guru is saying, and we're doing it at the same time. So last night I was being nosy, God, please forgive me for my nosiness. And I went on and I'm listening to something, and I keep trying, man. I try all the time just to because I like different perspectives, but the perspective is, that's what you say, right? No one's talking about black folks, these black people who have used black people for their political gain, talking trash, blaming black people for people coming after black people, and then making it about the ignorance of black people. Meanwhile, the entire soliloquy is so written with ignorance and ugliness, and again, your hustle. Because to me, that's just the hustle, right? I don't think, Eric, we're going to hear much conversation about the fact that the insurrection was focused on black people, because once again, black people would have to admit their travesty and tragedy, and that is tragic. See, I don't know, and like I listen every day, I always walk away with something that you say that gets me to thinking or gets me to writing, and I'm kind of, like I put on social media, I'm kind of like beat down by it all, because who are we going to get to help us, right? Who are we going to get to push Eric Dawson forward, right? I don't know if we're going to get that. I kind of feel defeated that, and we kind of lost, and that is why what happened on the Capitol was so blatant and so open, because I feel like they know that our community has killed itself, not them, but our community has killed itself. And so how do we move forward from that? I don't know a way to move forward. And trust me, our mind played it a few times of, Jody, can you write something? Jody, can you write to someone? Jody, can you write up a plan? I have thought that through, because, as you said, we have children and we have to feed them something great. And I want something great for my child, but I think we're kind of done, because as I saw last night, listening, was, what was said was that the they were proud of what they did. To the black people, to the black men, more importantly, which is always proud to me because I am a space where I believe that men should lead our community and that men can lead our community, even though I acknowledge that women have been doing a hell of a lot of the work. I still wish that I could follow a black man to a space. He could lead my community outways, but that black man was saying that they were proud of the people on the state capitol because they stood up for something. And even if they stood up for their hero, black people should look at that, right, and follow that. We'd all be there on the Capitol stairs, but who gives a shit? And tell them that this was the way because of some undercurrent business you're doing and makes you feel like you still can't say that it's bad. It's just bad, and I don't know how to fix it. And I'm hoping, as I'm watching you bear down, you are thinking of a way to save us, Eric Dalton, because I am not doing that. I am.
Well, so Jody, the real fact is, so people, sacrifices have to be made. And, you know, we really are in a conundrum, right? So I know that you made a lot of sacrifices. You made as many sacrifices as you thought were responsible before you had to look and say, I got to take care of me and I got to take care of my family. So you packed and you said, got to go.
Yes.
Right? That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And I know you. So I know when you did that, you did it with a heavy heart, realizing that removing yourself from this battlefield here, right? Though it was good for you and your family, you knew the void it would leave here, right? There are a lot of folks who are going through that every day. I know people who've packed up their houses and headed to Maryland, to DC, further south like you did. Those who are still here are no better than those who have left, right? Do you know what I mean? It's just, I'm looking going, how long will they stay before they look and go, I gotta go too. Right? So, I don't know. Which is why, you know, I just say, we just got to keep fighting. We have to focus where the fight is. And we have to understand that we have to understand what we're fighting. So to what Vincent said about the rabbi saying, well, who is the enemy? And what I'm going to say to you, Vincent, is this. The enemy at this point is not an individual, right? The enemy is an ideal.
Correct.
It's an ideal.
That's why the Quran calls him the whisperer.
Right.
He
So
whispers those ideals amongst everyone.
Right.
And it spreads like bad weed.
And so so understand the undergirding of this ideal. And this is why I say it's important. Education is important. The undergirding of this ideal, in part, is wrapped up in the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. Right? Because it says, here's the ideal. That we have these people who we don't consider to be humans, not in totality, right? We see them this way. They serve a purpose for us. That's the ideal. They serve a purpose. And their purpose is to be the commodity to our wealth and to our power. And so now everything that we do stems from that. And in order to keep them that way, here is the methodology to follow. So they've done that. And a playbook. They got a playbook. And so they go and execute. Go up. They're getting out of line. Where do we go to page 200? And okay, here's what we do. Up, they're doing this. Okay, so we go to page 17, everybody, and this is what we do. See, that's how organized that is.
Here is.
And I'm saying that we don't have a playbook. We don't have a plan of escape. Right? And so I'm saying, and I get that. Let me finish this, Vincent.
I'm sorry.
And I'm saying, I get that we don't have a plan of escape. And the reason we don't have one is because of how, pardon my French, how fucked up we are in the head. And so, for those of us who we don't know anything else, but that we're all fucked up in the head, then we need to not be fucked up in the head anymore. Right? So let us not get beyond that. So if moving beyond that is too much for you, let us all agree that we don't need to be fucked up in the head anymore, because being fucked up in the head is fucking us up. Right? Okay, got that. So now, how do we prevent being fucked up in the head? Well, right now we're driving our kids, or we just turned on our computers, or our children's computers, for them to be educated or miseducated, to be fucked up in the head. Right? So I'm saying we got to stop that right now.
Eric, here is one thing, if I can add to, because you did put a litany of actual concepts. But first and foremost, I haven't heard that term that you used since the 80s. The second thing is this. We know that they have a playbook. And if I am a football coach and I've got my opponent's playbook, then I know every move he makes. And I know how to counter.
You know what, Vincent?
Yet we won't.
See, stop. I don't even want to know I don't want their playbook. I just want everybody to know they're organized. They have a playbook. They're not, it's not helter-skelter. Now, I'll use Bill Walsh as an example of why I don't care about their playbook. And we shouldn't care about their playbook. Bill Walsh, the architect of the West Coast offense, did something brilliant. He would script 16 plays and march into any stadium. And he said, I don't care what they're going to do. We're going to run these 16 plays because I know who we are. See, he didn't care. He did not care. He said, we know thyself. Here are our plays. Pardon my French, guys. Fuck what they're doing. If we execute, we win. And that's what he did. And that's where we need to be. All I'm saying is understand, they are a team with a plan. Now we have to have a plan. See, we can't go out there without a plan. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying let's get their playbook, let's figure it out, no. Let's just agree that they're operating with a plan. They're operating as an organization, as a corporation. They've got incorporating papers. Right? And here we are. We're just trying to wing it. No, you can't wing it. We got to script our plays. And we got to line up, and then we got to execute. That's all I'm saying. So let's stop worrying about what they're doing. Right? We know. We already know. What they're doing is advancing the ball to achieve their ultimate agenda, which is to maintain supremacy. That's it. We know that. We don't need to know the ins and outs of it. I don't need to know that.
Well, as you said, Bill Walsh, let me interject Bill Belichick.
And I want to talk about Bill Belichick in a second. Go ahead, though.
Bill Belichick, when they played the Eagles for the Super Bowl, had cameras at the Eagles practice. He knew their plays. And as much as they executed those plays to the best of their abilities, he still found a way because he knew where they were going. He neutralized it. So, no, now we know what their overall goal is, to increase and keep and maintain that balance of white supremacy. And we know how they do it. Let's start crushing the leaders. Let's marginalize them. Let's scandalize them. And then we will execute them to keep the masses under.
See, but Vincent, here you go again. I don't care.
Well,
Look,
Eric, please let me finish.
I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
So we know that. Let us now not take our foot off the gas. Let us not cower to their techniques. Or as Eric said, I don't care what they know about us. This is our plan, and we're going to execute it to the fullest. The only thing that kills an execution is executing half-heartedly or not even executing at all.
Right. So, what?
I don't have any sports. I don't have any sports analogy.
I can't hear you, Jody.
I said I don't have a sport analogy because I just don't have a sport analogy. I look for personality, right? Because I just feel like they are not the problem, right? I feel like the enemy within is the bigger problem, right?
Yeah.
So like Prince had to get rid of a couple of executives that wanted to keep his money, and so he wasn't going to any of his Spotify's or whatever buys. He was going to keep his to himself. So that he was so afraid. So now tell me, how do we reprogram a community that is so used to following these politicians and political play gamers to stop following them and buying into them to free themselves so that they can stop smoking the weed and feed the seed or whatever that is, right? How do we do that? How do we, when you have someone that's been in the community for 20, 30 years, and you are used to being abused by them, and so much so, and you don't even consider it being abused anymore. You think this is how we live, this is what we do. And in large part, the insidious nature of what we become to accept, right, is that when they do dirty deeds to us, people who look like us do dirty deeds to us. I've heard this excuse that white people do it all the time. We're going to give them a pass because white men do it all the time, which is so much like the Stockholm syndrome, right? How do we change that? What would be the formula that people just free themselves so that we can re-educate them and re-engineer our communities in a better way? I think that's almost kind of freaking impossible now. I do.
Right. So we have, again, there has to be an understanding that the person who is not awakened to what we're talking about is a danger. We have to acknowledge that, right? We have to acknowledge it not only verbally but in our actions. Like they're not benign. They're not just in the community. No, they are dangerous, right? Their actions, because of their ignorance, are dangerous, potentially dangerous, and we have to operate like that. And then we have to realize, like, everybody doesn't belong everywhere. So we try to bring some of those dangerous people into meetings about how to take back our local communities, right? And those people don't belong in those meetings because they're weak-minded people, right? Who literally will run out of those meetings and take the very blueprints that you outline and take them to the enemy because they're weak and dangerous people. We have to identify them. We have to stop trying to embrace them. We have to recognize who they are and what they are. Right? Then once we do that, the folks who are, as best we can discern, those who do have a backbone, those who are conscious to the struggle, we have to look. We have to do two. I think we have to do two things there too, right? We have to make a pact that says, "Hey, listen, we can ready to sit down in this room. We're gonna start formulating this stuff. If at any point any of you all are found to be treasonous, this is how we're gonna deal with you." And we have to be clear about that. But we don't have those conversations. So people just are allowed to come into rooms, sit at tables, write notes, right? Do all these things, and then leave. And there are no consequences. This is serious business. Lives are on the line. And we're running around with these laissez-faire attitudes about how to deal with it. You know, and until we get more disciplined about it, we got problems. And I agree with you, Jody. I don't care about their playbook. I care about the playbook of the black mayor in the city of Newark. What's his playbook?
Right.
What's his playbook? I care about the black mayor in the township of Orange, in East Orange, in Irvington. What's their playbook? But see, we ignore their playbook. Right? And meanwhile, they just stomping all over us. And we want to focus on some national playbook. We can't even have that conversation till we organize a militia here.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and so that's where I am. And so again, I'm asking who's having see, we can see these indicators, right? These performance indicators that let you know what's going on. So right now, what conversations are being had in black communities by black elected officials and by black clergy that says, hey, there's some real shit that just happened. We need a clarion call. We need to call up the militia.
Well, Eric, I can tell you this. Black America, black clergy, and blacks in the street all need one particular thing, because we have to realize that even though they are clergy, they are human and capable and very willing to be infallible and not do what's right or even miss some things. One of the biggest things that we have to do is to bring their attention to the cause.
Wait. Bring their attention. Wait, Vincent, you don't think that everybody's attention? Well, I'm talking about what occurred last week. Who needs
Eric,
it?
I'm talking, Eric.
Go ahead.
Eric, let me finish. Even though people do see it, different people interpret things differently. How many people, up until the point that they heard this show, didn't realize that what they were doing wasn't not an attack on the Capitol, but an attack on the black?
No. I'm talking about the clergy. I'm talking about those people who have placed themselves in leadership positions within our community. I'm not talking about
and again, let me finish. Because even though they are clergy, some of them are not enlightened to see it in the manner in which we have just stated. So let us enlighten and educate them as well. Because no man knows everything. That's why we have a collective to give different perspectives that we have sometimes missed.
Vincent, you have way too much patience for these folks in the midst of this battle. I say move them to the sideline, move them out of the way. They're in the way. All right, but we're going to hold this. We're going to pause this. And we're going to get back to it. Because I got a phone call and we have Mrs. Deidre Viney on the line.
Yay!
Good morning. I hope you guys weren't talking about me because I was on a conference call, so I didn't get to listen to the first hour of the show.
Were your ears burning?
They were a little bit. That's why
Okay.
I'm asking.
Yes, we were talking about you. We were expressing how you bring a wealth of knowledge and experience.
Oh, all right. Well, then that's okay.
Although I've never gotten that upside down cake.
You know, funny you should say that. I'm actually going to bake this week, and I have a friend that's not well. And I text her to say, hey, I make these awesome cakes. Like, which one of these three can I get for you? I offered my apple fritter loaf, and I offered my rum cake and my pineapple upside down. What
well, Deidre, I'm not feeling well myself.
You live too far. I gotta connect with Uber Eats to drop it off to you. I'm not driving.
I'll meet you halfway. I'm okay with that.
No, that's still far. She lives in my town.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So, what jewels of wisdom are we going to discuss today?
So today I'm going to talk about freelancing. And jobs for freelancing is booming because as companies start to get back into the swing of things, they may not hire full time, and they might we call gig work, right? You might get a gig job, contract work, whatever fancy term you want to call it, but I like the term freelancing because you can sometimes have more than one freelance job going on at one time, depending on your skill set, you know. And sometimes you might come in as a short-term project to help them get over whatever thing that they're working on. Sometimes it might be that they think they need someone full-time, but, you know, business doesn't demand full-time person, so they'll bring you in maybe part-time or, you know, whatnot. And so there's actually sites out there. I mean, obviously, Express is a place to get gigs, right? We have placed lots of people for short-term stuff. We do place some folks for contract. I know I talked to you guys about that regulatory compliance position that I have open. And that's considered a gig job because it's only 6 months to 2 years. It's a big window because they're doing some audit work. And so I guess they don't know how much, you know, they have to look at until they start digging in the weeds. So I want you folks to to realize that if you're out of work and you have a skill set that's needed, you can consider some of these online platforms, which I didn't know much about them, and so I started doing my own digging. There's a platform called Upwork. It's just UPWORK. There's one called TopTal, TOPTAL. There's one called Brain Trust. And the last one's called Catalant, CATALANT. So these are for gigs. I mean, so like you're like a graphic designer or that kind of skill set. You probably are used to like freelancing, right? You come in, they need to build a website or they need to do whatever, and you have a certain skill set. You guys agree on a price, you go to work, the job is done, you move on to another freelance. So some folks are really familiar with that. But what the internet is allowing us to do, and especially as people are all work remote, is really open up the world to opportunities, and you're working out of the comfort of your home in your comfy slippers. So I employ them to check out these four websites I just mentioned. If you're in that sort of space where you have a skill set that is needed and that someone's willing to pay a price for, and then it allows you to maybe keep your kids, you know, everyone's keeping their kids learning from home. Maybe that'll allow you to continue to do that. Or, you know, it allows you to at least get some money in your pocket, as well as still look for that full-time opportunity, because we need to keep our resume fresh, right? We don't want that 6 months, 1 year, 2 years of gap. It just does not look good for you at all. So this freelance opportunity will allow you to fill in that gap, even temporarily, and to show that you have a skill that is needed, that a company was willing to pay money for. There's also another one called Side Hustle. I love that one. SIDEHUSL, Side Hustle, where you can go there and get a lot of different options for things that you may not be. Maybe you're not an architect, or maybe you're not a particular skill set of those other websites I've mentioned, but maybe you know how to type, or you can put together a spreadsheet or whatever. And so maybe you can consider that kind of thing to keep your skills fresh, as well as help out a business that may not be able to afford at this period of time to hire someone on a full-time basis. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I've got one question. Now,
Yeah.
Here is the scenario. I got laid off because of COVID. I'm collecting unemployment, plus now it's a bonus of the unemployment. And I mean, it's not great, but it is comfortable. If I take on some of these side hustles or freelancing, would that affect my unemployment?
So I always tell people to consider unemployment like a savings account, right? So you use it when you need it, and when you don't need it, it's there for you. So yes, your unemployment may be reduced because you will need to report income. But if you're not working full time and you're only working a set dollar amount, you should still be able to collect unemployment. Now, I'm not an unemployment specialist, nor do I play one on TV. But I will say all that is say you can definitely double check with them. What I don't want to do is I don't want folks to sit home and say, I don't want to take a job because I'm on unemployment.
Right.
I think that's a bad way to think of it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fall into that trap that when your unemployment runs out and now you need to go for a job, you can't find a job.
Right.
When things were afforded to you, you were super picky and said, that's all right, I'm going to sit home and collect unemployment. I've seen it happen time and time again. And then now they're crying the blues because they have no money coming in. Don't let that be you. Just stay out there, and gigs, short-term work, contract work, or even working with a staffing firm on part-time work or full-time work, maybe it's only 2 weeks or a month or whatever, allows you to be able to keep that savings account, that unemployment account, there for when you really, really, really need it. Now, if you're a creative person, and I know there's some creative people out there, like writers or editors or producers or photographers. I know I had a friend, one of my husband's frat brothers actually did, he was one of those camera people for live TV. And so he was a gig guy. I didn't know this. He was what we call a 1099 employee, which means they don't hire you full time. They only hire you when they need you to do football or basketball or whatever. And he was traveling all over the country for different cameraman jobs. But those kind of people, you want to keep yourself out there, right? Because that particular area has been hurt, at least from the standpoint of, like, I have a friend that did concerts, and those aren't happening right now. And so those folks, when it does come back, and it will, they will probably use gigs, contractor, freelancers again, because they were also super comfortable with that to begin with. And now more so, they might do it in areas they might not have done before because they're trying to recoup money that they lost after a year or two of not having shows. So if you're in that kind of special space where you're a writer or editor or creative space, there's sites for that as well for you to consider to be able to keep yourself out there and keep working. So that's the website that I found for creatives is called Working Not Working. Mm-hmm. That connects these creative type of folks. Then you've got technology people. So those are the folks that are highly compensated, and I applaud this sector here because I was just never that technology person where I could fix the back of the computer. Like, I tried to fix my daughter's computer before Christmas. I made it actually worse. instead of just spending the money and going to Best Buy, I was like, oh, I can fix it. And we made it worse. So
Merry Christmas to you, baby girl.
I had to go buy her a whole new laptop because I broke the one that I call myself fixing.
I need a new laptop. Can you look at one of mine?
So these folks are really critical to our lots of different areas within our world, and rightly so. They need to be compensated for their work because they're brilliant.
Yeah.
So the examples I gave of like Brain Trust or TopTool, those are two particular ones where you, if you're a technology specialist, you can go there and get a job. I mentioned earlier, and I'll mention at the end of when I'm done, of the jobs I had, but one of them was actually an IT auditor role. And it's so funny because as a recruiter, because I'm not in the IT world, even looking at their resumes sometimes can be challenging. So I have to sort of build my muscle up to look at a resume of an IT professional because they're unlike some others that I've seen. So you want to just make sure that you're keeping yourself out there. There's another one called Upwork. So you can put some stuff down there as well to check out.
Yeah.
And then if you're like insurance, HR, or accounting, there's one called WAVE, WAHVE, where you can check out and do help out small businesses that need temporary or part-time help. Maybe you're a small business and you need to redo your employee manual. Or maybe you're a small business and you try to do everything, but you want somebody to manage your books and those QuickBooks really well. That's an opportunity for these parties to be connected in the way that allows a flexible schedule, and it works for everyone, right? It has to work for everyone in order for it to be successful. So there's a lot out there. I just gave kind of a few that I've done some research on that I think are good to consider if you're in that kind of, looking for your next gig, if you will. Because there's always things like, what do you call it? If you're a handy person, there's TaskRabbit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call that a gig, right? If you have a skill set, maybe you know how to fix things. You put your name out there on TaskRabbit, and people actually find you for work. So it's a way to really keep yourself busy and build your resume. Just because you don't necessarily you get paid, people always think, well, I get paid under the table, I can't consider that. No, you can absolutely consider that. I know there's IRS rules and all that kind of stuff, so I don't want to get in trouble. But you can anything you've worked at, I don't care if it's unpaid or if it's cash, it's still work experience. And so you need to make sure that you're adding all those things onto your resume, because you do not want to have too many holes. I've been interviewing a lot of people. So this is January, right? So COVID hit right around March. I'm interviewing a lot of people, and that's their answer for why they're not working anywhere. And so now we're coming up against a year. So I want to remind people that a year is a long time to have a hole in your resume. So you don't want that to happen. You need to get to work, and these are some opportunities to find a gig on your own, go to these sites, come talk to a staffing firm like Express or any of my competitors that can get you working, so that not only are you going to get money in your pocket, but you'll be able to keep your skills up to date.
Sure. Hey, Deidre, Mark asked in the thread, he said, is WAVE a good resource for nonprofits?
What is it called?
He said WAVE, the website you were just talking about.
You referred to
WAVE?
Yeah.
WHAVE.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying WAVE, like the one where WAVE, sorry. Like the one where you do, like, how do you get from A to B? I'm like, that's not what I said.
No, wait. Yeah, WAVE. He said, is that a good resource for nonprofits?
So, according to the research I've done, it's mainly for insurance, human resources, and accounting.
Okay.
It doesn't say anything for nonprofits. There is one for nonprofits. The name escapes me now. Just do a Google search on that, because there's a website. If you particularly want to work in nonprofits, there's a website just for jobs in nonprofits, because a lot of those jobs you're not going to find on the job boards, because they post it in this particular site that maybe it'll pop in my brain eventually before the end of the show, or I'll put it in the feed when I think about it. because it's it's really popular.
Okay.
That a lot of nonprofits use it. If you want to post your resume there, they can find you, or you can go there and look for a job.
Got it. All right. I found that when I was in between jobs, doing freelance work was really good for me because it bridged that gap, right? And I would go in as a consultant, right? Freelance consultant. So when you looked at my resume, even though I may have left the job in say February, from February to June when I was employed again, I might have had two or three consulting jobs or freelance jobs. And so it kind of worked out. So I agree with you that if you can't find a full time gig, find a gig. Just fill that space. Fill that space. That's the important thing.
Well, yes, I found that. I just did a Google search. This is one of them, and there's a few of them, but some are more popular than others. And because of where we live, at least this metro area, a lot of these nonprofits are run out of New York. So it's called the foundationlist.org. That's a place that a lot of nonprofits post their jobs. So you want to check that out if you're looking to stay in the nonprofit sector.
Okay. All right.
Well, cool. Deidre, tell us what's new and exciting and what jobs are coming up, and especially include those jobs that are ex-offender friendly.
Yeah, so we've been really busy, as I always say. So we have a couple of jobs open. We have tons of jobs that are actually offender friendly. So we have a job, if you're a forklift driver, general warehouse worker, I have quite a few opportunities available for that right now. A lot of these jobs are actually in Newark. I don't know what's going on with Newark. Newark has just been super busy, which has been really fantastic. So if you live and want to work in the Newark area, I've got quite a few job opportunities for a forklift driver, general warehouse worker. I'm actually looking for a maintenance shop foreman. That one's a little bit more skilled person that pays up to $5 an hour. I'm also looking for a handyman, a maintenance tech. You're good with your hands and fixing things that's in a warehouse. That's paying up to $19 an hour. And I need a yard switcher. So that's someone that, when those tractor trailers are in the yard,
mm-hmm.
And that they just get dropped by the guy that drives the truck. He drops it and keeps it moving. And this person has to move those trucks around in the yard based on them being unloaded. So if you have experience moving trucks, sometimes it's helpful to have a CDL-A for that kind of role, just because you would be familiar with driving those big tractor trailers you see come down the highway. So those are some of my industrial positions. On the office side, I just got an HR assistant position. This is a great opportunity for someone. It pays up to $55,000. It's working directly with the director of HR's HR assistant. So you can be handling everything from paperwork for new hires to just helping them with their payroll. We also have a medical receptionist. That one is a direct hire position at East Orange. So if you work in a doctor's office, any type of doctor's office dealing with insurance, I'd love to talk to you about that. And then lastly, I'm looking for an office manager, bookkeeper. That position is in Hoboken. So if you have experience with that, that one does also use QuickBooks. It's for a small office, so the office manager role is, ordering supplies as needed. It's not anything super crazy with handling a lot of people. I think the biggest bulk of the job actually be handling the books of the business for a property management company. So those are the main ones I'm working on right now. They're all listed on our website. We get jobs every single day. When I can't fill them, I keep them up there, and definitely some because we are working on a long-term basis. On my professional division, we do have that regulatory compliance auditor role. That's a work-from-home position, and I'm also looking for the IT auditor position, and that one is it's a work from home, but you will need to come 3 days a week into Jersey City. So you should live in the Jersey City metro area to be able to do that. The other one, you can live anywhere in the country or world, as long as you have internet access and a phone. Mm-hmm. So everyone's welcome to reach out to us at expresspros.com/Jersey City. Our offices cover Jersey City, Hoboken, Kearney, Newark, Bayonne, North Bergen. If you do not live in those areas and you live, say, in Central or South Jersey, still go to our website, expresspros.com, and find a express office near you. We are all independently owned and managed, supporting our local community, but we do all report up to one franchise location.
Okay.
So we have the benefit of being small but large.
Excellent. So these are great
On the
opportunities.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Vincent.
Thank you. Deidre, on the entrepreneur tip, how is your pursuit to take over South Jersey?
So we already have express offices down there. Actually, the entire state of New Jersey is actually sold
Express Pro.
for
Yes.
Express. Yeah, we have 16 offices in New Jersey. So in South Jersey, you're near my buddy Barbara. She owns the office in Marlton. And so she oversees that area. And then by the shore, we have an office in Howell. We also have an office in Princeton. And then because you guys are so close to Philly, we have several offices in Philadelphia. I actually have my buddy Ade, black guy, owns the office right in downtown Philadelphia, right on Kennedy, JFK Boulevard. I've visited him quite a few times. So yeah, we've got you covered. The entire state. And if you want to work in New York City, I have an office in Queens and Brooklyn.
Nice.
Nice. Deidre, you're always a wealth of talent. And we love and respect your coming on the show, giving people some insight on how to prepare for a job, how to get a job, how to keep a job, and how to look for a better job. So in case our viewers, anybody who wants to reach out to Deidre Viney, or she connects you to any of the other locations that are closer to your residence, please mention that you heard about her and saw her on the Eric Dawson Show. We like to keep a track of how we're impacting our communities.
Here we go.
Yes, I love it.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Go get these jobs. Go get them. Thank you, Deidre. So let me ask you a question. How many
Yes.
do you have a count? So people understand that, you come on weekly and you talk about the jobs that you have, but you're filling jobs as well, right? So
Yeah.
So can you give them a sense of like how many jobs you filled? So people.
Yeah, so it's funny you should say that because so today's Tuesday, and I don't tell you about the jobs that we filled already because some of them, they make it on the board and they're gone in like 20 minutes.
Right.
Because my staff is awesome and they're filling them. So I'm looking at in my office. So we're operating out of our office in Jersey City. So let me be clear that we're in Jersey City. We're operating full time. We've been here since June. We did work remotely for 2 months during COVID times, but we are practicing social distancing in my office. We wear masks, and we are also not doing in-person interviews. So when you interview with us, it will be over Zoom or over the telephone. You will have to at least stop in, though, with an appointment only, with your mask on, to sign our I-9, and maybe to pick up a direct deposit, a money card if you don't have a direct deposit account to put it in. We have a free card to give you. But just to give you an idea, just today is Tuesday, and I'm already looking at our board, and we've got 9 people that we've had start this week already.
See.
Yeah, and today's only Tuesday. And it's early. So,
and what I like is that your jobs are not for chump change minimum wage.
Yeah.
No, we do. Now, I'm not going to lie. We do have some minimum wage jobs. Not a lot. Because we've been really fighting to get up the pay. I mean, minimum wage in Jersey just went up January 1st. It's now $12 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But I only had to change the bill rate for like 3 of my clients. And that's the thing, too, Eric, is that people, I think, don't realize when you're coming to a staffing firm, it's like coming to 60 companies at once. So that's how many companies we service at any given point.
Right.
So it's just allowing you to diversify how you look for a job. I'm not saying to just come to us, but coming to us is like 60 companies, and maybe 7 of those fit you.
So let me ask you
your skill set.
Let me ask you a question. So you talked about all of the other offices that you have. So if somebody came to your office and presented their resume, and you didn't see that you had an opportunity for them right away, do you share their resume with the other offices in the general area? If they told you in the interview that they were willing to travel, say 40 miles or 50 miles, do you then, in that, looking at that mile radius, offer your counterparts at these other locations an opportunity to help find jobs for these folks?
So the way that it works is you when you put your application online, you actually can request where it gets sent to.
Okay.
So you might send it to Jersey City, you might send it to Morris Plains, that's only 30 minutes away. New Jersey's so densely populated too. We're all within 30 minutes of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go into the website, that's how we try to save you some time and effort, because you do technically have to apply and you have to interview at every express office that you want to work for. And I know you may say, well, that's silly, but it's not, because we all have different clients that we service.
Okay.
So Jersey City might have completely different clients than Morris Plains office has. But if you go to our website or you download our app, it will allow you to send it to as many express offices as you want, so that you only do that part one time. But the interview process still has to be done with each office. Now, if you come to my office and you impress me, and let's say I don't have anything for you at this particular time, I mean, you would have to really head over heels impress me. And I may just forward your resume over to whatever you told me you wanted to work, because I know all the owners. And if I say that, and that has happened, let's say I've had an opening, like I just filled my 2 positions, yay, to Express Jersey City for our internal roles. But let's say someone comes to me and I was like, wow, this person's awesome. And they say, listen, Deidre, I have a car. I also saw that Morris Plains had the same exact opening you did. And it sounds like you filled the role. Do you mind introducing me? And I've done that many, many times.
Oh, okay.
But it's up to that office to call them. They may say, that person, no, they don't have this, and this is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Or they may say, oh, great, thanks for taking the time. You interview them. If you like them, I want to talk to them. So that certainly has happened. But because we're so densely populated up in this area, and traveling, it can be a challenge. I don't get those requests a lot, because you don't want to be sitting in traffic for an hour and a half trying to get 45 miles away because of traffic.
Right. Okay. All right.
Oh, thank you, Deidre. I mean, you really unpack a lot of good information.
I'm trying my best.
No, you're not trying. You're doing.
Thank you. I mean, it's a new year, right? We're all setting goals for ourselves. And if one of them is to get a job, or maybe it's to get a new job, or maybe it's to change careers into something completely different because you're bored of what you're doing now. I mean, take a look at what Eric's doing with this show and having me on and just talking about these opportunities. And then going back to some of the Tuesday shows that we've done in the past.
I know.
Express has a really great YouTube channel that is a plethora of information on, how to write a resume, how to interview, what your expectations are, how to keep a job. I've done tutorials, I've done webinars on that, I should say, in the past, and they've been really successful. And I get all the content. Honestly, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I get all the content from Express, and then I add my own spin on it based on what I've seen in our particular marketplace that I found it helps people to be successful at their job. But again, at the end of the day, it's up to the person. They've got to want to do it. But we're trying to give you all the right tools to help you be successful. And then the rest is up to you.
Yep.
All right. Deidre Viney, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm waiting for my bread pudding, Eric.
I know. You know what, Deidre? I gotta say, I pooped out this weekend. I was planning on making it, and I pooped out, and so I gotta make more bread. So I gotta make more bread first.
No pressure. But my husband's birthday is February. Mine is February. My birthday is February. So if you really want to do something fantastic for me, I don't want bread pudding for my birthday. I actually want carrot cake or red velvet. So if you make a mean carrot cake, I don't like nuts though, no walnuts, and no raisins. I know I'm weird. I know you should have.
So you want a carrot cake with no nuts and no raisins?
I know. And I like my bread pudding with raisins. So if you put raisins, I'm just going to out. I'm just gonna pluck them out. I'll still eat it, but I'm gonna pluck them out. But my birthday is next month. My cousin, Elle's cousin, makes this hands down the best carrot cake I've ever made. I've ever had. But he doesn't sell it. He barely cooks, and I already emailed him to give him 6 weeks notice, and I'm willing to pay for it. And he told me no. He said, "I'm sorry, I haven't baked. I can't commit to it for your birthday." And this is the big one, guys. This is a milestone birthday for me. I know y'all don't really know me that well, but I'm turning the big one.
No, that's
30.
I know. Oh, you know what, Vincent? I love you. You know I have a 15-year-old, right? So that would make me have been a teenage mama, and that wasn't even in my household. My mama would have kicked my butt.
And for anybody else, for your birthday request for Eric's desserts and culinary delights, please email us at this address and include my $3 finder's fee.
Hey, so Deidre,
I'm on the quest for red velvet. Red velvet comes exactly as it is. I used to go to, remember the guy in Brooklyn? I used to travel all the way to Brooklyn to get his cake. It was so delicious. He doesn't do it anymore, but I really love Cake Man Raven's cakes in Brooklyn, and he did our wedding cake. So it was fantastic. He's one of my husband's 5 brothers, and my cousin makes this cake, a carrot cake, but he's turned me down. So I'm gonna hunt for those. I got a backup plan if it doesn't come through. I will never bake good. If it doesn't come through, I got a store I can go to that hands down will not let me down. But asking you shall receive. So I'm putting it
there you go.
But my husband's birthday is January 26th, and he likes bread pudding.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. And the request orders are in, ladies and
Done.
gentlemen.
All right. I'll take
Deidre, I need to talk to you about a project later on, so if you've got some time in your busy schedule, can we...
Yeah, not today, though. Today I'm crazy busy. I actually have a 12 o'clock meeting as soon as I hang up with you guys. So,
all right.
Tomorrow.
Well,
I'm around all day.
Well, get to your day. Thank you so much, Deidre. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. God bless. Stay safe.
So, Bill Belichick, who was a huge...
Newsflash. The House committee are now debating on Trump's removal.
So, all right. So let's save that one for after the Belichick thing. So, did you see the news? Donald Trump wanted to bestow upon Bill Belichick the Presidential Medal of Honor, and Bill Belichick declined it.
You blame him? I'm starting to really like Belichick.
So
I am starting. It's a goodwill publicity stunt, as far as I'm concerned. Everything that Donald Trump has done in terms of the community or in terms of the nation has been too little, too late. I'm through. I'm through with the exhaustion. I'm through with him running space in my head. You know what I like? I like to see Donald Trump being tried, convicted, and hung for his insurrection. I'd like to see Donald Trump to the point where, you know what, no more Donald Trump. I cannot take another news clip of Donald J.K.A.S. Trump.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of all of these people who now figure that Donald Trump's a bad guy, right? So where was Bill Belichick when Donald Trump was calling football players as a business for kneeling, right? Where was the banks that no longer wanted to do business with Donald Trump in the last 4 years, but he was paying all the money? There was congressmen, senators, people now
you're breaking up, Jody.
You're breaking up, Jody.
Jody, we can't hear you. Maybe she can hear you, Vincent. Tell her we can't hear her.
Jody. Yeah, Jody, is something wrong with your mic? You're breaking up, and we can't hear what you're saying.
The fact that they are now pulling back, or everyone wants us to be done. A friend who is obviously a friend who obviously believes in the things that he believes in, or you would have called it out. If you could stand up today, then you could have stood up yesterday. And if you don't, then there's something is wrong, right? So I don't care about Bill Belichick. He's a phony. So is the bank that is rejecting to do any business with Donald Trump. Bullshit. All of that is bullshit. And we shouldn't think that all of a sudden America has a conscience. America has no conscience. And the people that stood by and allowed and co-signed this behavior are just trying now to keep themselves above the fray. But I don't care what Bill Belichick did.
I'm with you, Jody. I think that it's all too little too late. Now, all of a sudden, that Donald Trump is no longer a threat. They're not afraid of his base anymore. You know, now, all of a sudden, they're going to stand up. And we've had too many years of them not standing up. Don't stand up now that he's no longer a threat, because that makes you a weak, spineless... I don't want to use it.
So, yeah. But wait a minute now. We're saying that Donald Trump, the guy who got 74 million votes, is not a threat. See, I disagree with you. I think that Donald Trump is a huge threat. And I think that Donald Trump will become a bigger threat, right, as the Biden-Harris administration unfolds. Because
everybody... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I think that Donald Trump is going to find an online platform to land his plane, and he is going to continue his narrative, whether it's through a blog or whatever. He's going to do that. So I'm not ready to say that Donald Trump's not a threat.
I am ready to say this and mark it as a prediction, precognitive, whatever you like to call it, that they are aware of Donald Trump's plans. And not only are they aware of Donald Trump's plans, that they are putting in motion things that we will never hear Donald Trump again. The fact that they want to impeach him, and that takes care of his ties from any other government job. The fact that social medias have now banned him indefinitely, and they have grouped together with anybody else who wants to put him on their server. The fact that mainstream media, who was talking with him about getting a show, has now killed that as well. I think that America is now, because now... they could have shown some backbone while he was in power and done that. But now, because he is not, that they are now starting to get some intestinal fortitude and stand up to him. And what a lot of people, and what we are finding out is what a lot of people have said, the reason that he is so empowered with all of this stuff is because they allowed him to be. No. If that was Barack Obama doing 1/10 of the BS that Trump did, these people would have been lined up and stormed the White House. If that was Barack Obama, who said that he wanted to change, move, take a dime from these people who are still donating to him, no, he would have been hung. I am sick and tired of the hypocrisy of the American people when it comes to Donald Trump and doing what's fundamentally right for America. And I'm sick of people hiding in the auspice of, no, I'm an American, this is my country. Well, it's my country too. And until you start realizing that we have more social ills and diseases that need to be vaccinated, inoculated, and some of them put to death, then I don't want to hear anymore. Jeez. I don't think that. I think Donald Trump is still a threat, and I don't. It may not come as Donald Trump, right, the person, but I've been saying it for a minute. I think he's leaving behind his corporation. He's giving it some light, some love, some consideration, and
that they will still try to promote that agenda and keep that moving. And as Eric says, corporation of white supremacy continues to win. And I just feel like those people who are now backing off from it, I don't believe they're backing off of them. I think they're doing what is on the top, what is popular right now.
To keep their jobs.
The world is mad at Donald Trump. But I think he'll go away for a minute. The person, Donald Trump, not the corporation, but the person, Donald Trump, may go away for a minute because he's bruised, and I don't think that has anything to do with anything else other than a narcissist being a little bruised ego and doesn't want to really show his face. But he will show his face again, and his corporation will always be there waiting to, with open arms to love him again when this dies down. I think he's here to stay. I do. I just don't care to hear about all those people who now want to say he was a bad guy, or they've caught a conscience and this incident was bad enough to pull away. I think things that he said 2 years ago were bad enough to pull away, but, whatever. Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump has, look, I'm really, I'm exercising a great deal of restraint, and Eric can tell you how, it went yesterday on the show, that no. I'm fed up. I am fed up. I'm fed up with Trump traumatic stress. I am fed up. Look, he's got to go. We've got to change we've got to turn a corner. We've got to build America back better. We've got to eliminate these social diseases, all of which he stands in the way of. I'm done. He's gone. He is gone. And I will do everything possible to make sure that snake does not rear its ugly head again.
So do you believe that Donald Trump is going to be impeached?
Is going to be, you cut off.
Impeached. Do you believe he's going to be impeached?
I'll let Jody answer that first.
So I do believe he'll be impeached. I mean, does it matter now, right? But I do believe he'll be impeached.
Well, I think it matters. I think it matters for a number of reasons, right? Because in politics, folks are always negotiating, right? And so you have people on the right who don't want him impeached. You got people on the left who do. You got the progressives who, would probably love to see him in the gallows, right? But fighting this fight is going to create hurdles down the road for other things that these individual politicians want, right? And so it becomes a question of political will based on what long-term objectives are. And what I'm saying is, and you've got a lot of folks saying that doing this is going to bog down the early days of the Biden administration. And so, I don't know where I fall on it. I mean, but I don't think that it's a slam dunk that he's going to be impeached. I think that all of those things that I just mentioned are at play right now. So though you may want him to be, recognize that these are still politicians who are politicking right now.
These politicians who are politicking right now for anything that favors Donald Trump stand in huge risk of ending their political career. You've seen Moscow Mitch get up there and talk about, well, Biden's the president. We saw Mr. Redneck himself, Lindsey Graham, go, I'm so sick of what I've become following Donald Trump. No. It's over for all of you. Now, will he be impeached? It's a very good
Wait a minute, I don't understand. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Wait a minute, wait. What are you talking? What are you, Vincent? What are you talking? What are you talking about? Is over for them. They just won.
They just won, and I'm going to make sure then to remind everybody of the facts
Jody.
Done.
See.
If I have to donate,
See.
find a candidate
See.
in all of those states for their next term to become a
All right. So now we're into the hyperbole again, right? And so
no, Eric, down.
Vincent, but Vincent, in the midst of all of this, Moscow Mitch won, right? Lindsey Graham won. So all I'm saying is this. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because we only got 9 minutes. But these guys just won, and you're saying that it's over for them. They just won. What do you mean?
They just won. We know that.
Right, but what do you mean by
change the fact that they just won, Eric?
But when you say it's over for them, there's no indication that it's over for them.
Oh no! When I say that it's over for them, I'm saying that this is Vincent Squire expressed thoughts.
I got it.
And
I got it.
that it is over. That they will have to beg. Did you see how bad Mitch McConnell had to call the dog whistles out when his position was threatened for his election? No. Look, I'm calling Stacey Abrams. Get all those people out. Black Lives Matter. Get all those people out. All of the progressive Democrats. Get all of those people out and start campaigning right now of getting rid of some of these do-nothing Democrats. Some of these sorry Republican senators, and get some people in with some progressive thoughts and moving our country forward. I'm saying that right now, the veil is ripped. My eyes are open. I have now been energized and motivated to making sure that we now bring in new people, fresh ideas, fresh thoughts that have not the delusion of black inclusion, but the true black inclusion.
Well, wait a minute. If you wanted that, then you wouldn't have been supporting Biden.
Oh, no. Okay. Niagara Falls. You want to start that fight when we only got 6 minutes left?
Wait a minute. But I just sat here and listened to you rant on about wanting progressive ideas. Meanwhile, you're supporting a party that is doing everything they can to threaten and remove people who have progressive ideas.
No, I'm supporting a party because, and I will say this again, and I said it before. No, Biden was not my first choice, and the person that I did vote for did not win. Yet Biden does have some, not all, of the ideologies of the progressives. Biden does possess a level of looking for and making change and building back better. And Biden's also smart enough to realize that, you know what, it's not where the ideal comes from. It's the simple fact that the ideology can work for us.
Man, I tell you.
And most important, Biden was running against Trump.
That was it. That was it. Everything else, we're going to see major fights between the establishment and the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. We're going to see it over these next 2 years leading up to the midterms and 4 years because they're going to be battling for the presidency. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be hand-holding and kumbaya. They want to destroy the progressive wing of the party. So you're not going to get, and it goes back to when I said feeding the beast that you're trying to slay makes no sense to me. Right?
Well, it doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah.
But it does make sense to a lot of other Americans.
No, apparently it did. It made enough sense for them to vote for him, but now you got to go to war with them.
Well, there will be. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and be all idealistic about it. Oh, we're going to have a kumbaya because we've got the House. No, there is. Because within the parties, there are always disagreements. However, that the party now controls it in terms of direction, that they will come together for the common good.
Well, listen, like I said to you before, I am so grateful So grateful that he's got the House and the Senate. Because there are no excuses. Can't make a single excuse now. Not one.
Right.
Not one.
See, when Obama had the House and the Senate, he got so many things passed that they stopped reporting it. And then the simple fact that people got upset that he was passing things that really moved the needle in terms of black poverty and black health care. That he moved the needle, and then they voted in every Republican. I don't care how bad he is, and we ended up with a Republican Senate and a House that was basically spineless. Not only 3 of them actually had a backbone.
No.
And the one who had the biggest backbone was the one who ran against Obama.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to keep my eye. I want to keep my eye on the next 100 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, you understand what I'm saying? See, I don't want to. No, we don't need to go back. We don't need to go back.
We don't have to.
I want to keep my eye on the next 100 days with the guy, with the savior, who's got the House and the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I want to be. I want to be right in the pocket. Right in the pocket. Right? That's where we need to be. So we're going to keep our eye on it. Listen.
Yes.
It's gonna be like that Bugs Bunny episode. Remember where he was pitching? He goes 1, 2, 3 strikes you out. 1, 2, 3 strikes you out. It's just gonna be ongoing. And I'm telling you, they're gonna be excuse after excuse, and you're gonna see the Rachel Maddows and the Lawrence O'Donnells and the rest of them contorting themselves to try to explain it. But it will be inexplicable. And the question that I'm going to ask again is, where will be the riots in our communities? Right? Because those folks, Negro Whisperers, slave catchers, will be supporting it. And they'll be shoving down your throat the fact that you just gotta understand, like you, and then like they're gonna be telling you that your eyes are lying, that what you see you don't see. It's gonna be. I'm telling you, I don't have a Ouija board or one of those magic 8 balls. I just got history, and I'm sitting here watching it. So we'll see. But listen, the climate right now is crazy with this COVID-19 stuff. It is crazy. These numbers are through the roof. Deaths, infections.
Yesterday at work, I got an email basically saying that moving forward, I work in a medical facility, and moving forward, if we are not in OHAD, or we are not wearing gloves, we will be written up a new bill.
You can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera.
Yeah, it is bad. It is bad, guys. So, just continue to socially distance. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Stay out of crowded places. Do those things. Jody Pittman, it was great having you on. Deidre Viney is an amazing wealth of talent. Vincent Squire, man, we're gonna have a fun 4 years, Vincent. we're gonna have a.
So let me translate what Eric said. Let's get ready.
Well, I'm telling you what we're gonna have to do, because I don't have time to do it. But we're gonna have to hire an intern that can go and scrub through past episodes, because most of our episodes are going to be filled with clips from past episodes. where we say, this is what he said, this is what we said, this is what was said, this is what was done. And then we'll be able to go from there. But it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of it. God help us. But thanks for tuning in.
Eat me some of your cobbler for lunch, Eric.
Huh?
Good afternoon. I'm about to go eat some of your cobbler for lunch. You guys have a good afternoon.
Oh, enjoy it, Jody. And we got to get another shipment off to you. Thank you so much for your support always.
Thank you. Guys.
Thank you, Judy.
Have a
Be
great
safe out there.
Have a great day. And I put the book up here. I think it's on this side of me, on the right side of me.
I already bought it, man. I'm waiting for it to come in from Amazon.
Man, Jody, this is going to be a hot... Listen, I'm going to spend a tremendous amount of time on this book.
I'm very excited about reading your book.
Cast The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. Get it, get it, get it. Share with somebody that they should get it and they should join us. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to figure out how to do this Clubhouse thing because I want to try to combine the different social media platforms to bring more people in to have the discussion about it. Stay safe. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, no, we won't see you tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. I am taking off tomorrow. So we'll see you on Thursday.